Hello, Tiger fans, and welcome to this week's edition of the Tiger Women's Basketball Report. I'm your host, Ben Rosenbaum, and as always, I'm joined by the head coach of the Tigers, Laura Harper. And Coach, welcome back. A mixed bag. I'm going to borrow a term from Spiro Marikis. A mixed bag for you this past week. Started out real high. Let's start with that. A win over Stony Brook, 83-78. Just take us through that game. I mean, that was a great CAA basketball game.
Of course, arguably one of our most complete games of the season. I felt like we came confident. We came with a lot of energy. It was an overall team win. I felt like we were on a high, and I knew that it was going to be, can we enjoy this for 24 hours and get ready for Hofstra, or, are we going to stay on that cloud and not come back to earth? So it seems like we were still on that cloud, but super proud, even just in reflecting and talking to them, super proud what they were able to do up there at Stony Brook.
Yeah, looking at the Seawolves, Kari Clark had a big game. She does what she does. But you were able to slow down their transition a little bit, specifically. Talked about that, being able to rise to the occasion. I mean, very fast team. Gigi Gonzalez leads the way with that. Just talk about the effort to slow them down in transition, not give them any extra free points.
We knew that if Gigi Gonzalez just got to going like she did here at our place, it would be another long night. We knew that the one person that could really cause her problems was Kylie, and I felt like she was really excited to rise to that occasion, to that challenge. And it was just really cool to see just the fruits of their work kind of come into play.
And then late, you get into kind of a slugfest there where we're trading the lead. It's going back and forth. You tie it, take them to overtime. Kylie and Patricia Number were exceptional in that game, each scoring over 20 points. Those two seem to, everyone says big players step up in big games, and they stepped up late in that game for you guys.
Yeah, those two are our top two scorers, and for us to be a team as talented as Stony Brook, they have to come up, they have to be ready to play, and I think that it was really rewarding to see them play the way that they did, and also India to come and just, her shots were so timely, specifically in the third, and I felt like she was just in a rhythm, in a shooting rhythm that was nice to see.
So as you mentioned, you're on a cloud, you beat Stony Brook, you come back home, face a Hofstra team, and Hofstra, after you jumped out to it, I think it was like 10-0, 12-0 lead.
Yep.
Hofstra responds, they get a huge lift off their bench from Kayla Clark. Was it not being able to put away the Stony Brook game and just kind of thinking you guys are good to go? And that just, what were your immediate thoughts after the Hofstra game?
I had a lot of thoughts after the Hofstra game, but I think in trying to figure out and ride the emotions of our team, I think it's still just trying to figure out what consistency looks like for them, and can we put the same product out regardless of who we're playing. And at this point in time, we're not doing that. And I think, again, credit Hofstra for finding a way to beat us 2 years in a row. And they're not just going to lay down. I think people still get really excited to play us. And I don't know if we get as excited to play conference games the way that people get excited to play us.
And certainly not taking anything away from Hofstra. They played a great game. They earned that win. No one would doubt that. A big stat when you look at that score sheet is there's a big number 0 in the three-point column, 0 for 14 from beyond the arc. Not saying that's a main part of the offense, but we're used to seeing Kylie and Anumba and India Johnson and Nelson and Kayla from time to time knock down a three. And when that was missing, how much of a wrench did that throw into the gears when you guys just aren't getting the threes to fall?
Of course, it caused the staff to almost play perfect basketball, and we weren't able to do that. I think I looked at the number, we identify our top 3 scorers as Kylie, Pat, and India, and I want to say they were 4 for 23 amongst the 3 of them, and those are just numbers that we can't afford to sustain if they aren't putting the ball in the basket. Do we coach makes? No, but it's something that we're used to because we practice it, because they're very capable, and I think you got to throw that game out. You have to move on and know that we won't shoot that bad again. And we have to get ready for Drexel. And
let's talk about Drexel. Only playing one this week here at home on Monumental Sports Network at 7 o'clock. This is a team in a game that over the last 5-6 years has become a rivalry, meeting in the CAA championship. Always some heated games as well, and coaches and players have come and gone on both sides, and it still remains a heated game. And how do you get to the point where you manage the emotions of that and get them ready to play a basketball game, especially coming off a tough loss against Hofstra?
I think we really just need to focus on us. I think that's something that, despite all of the expectations and the pressures that everyone feels. I think for us as a team to really succeed, we have to just dial in on what makes us great. And I think the things that make us great are different than the things that make Drexel great. So I'll be curious to see, if we're ready for their methodical pace. Are we ready for their fade screens, their slip screens, their stagger screens, all their motion? Are we going to be disciplined and, they want to slow it down and play in the 50s? Well, that doesn't favor our style of play. So it's really going to just be the tale of two styles, and hopefully our style prevails.
And before we go, I do want to ask one more question about Drexel. It's there's a person who's really missing for them is Kashana Washington. She was somebody who could break out of their system and just kind of do whatever she needed to do, score 30 points, do whatever. 40. How different are they again without her? And you mentioned the pace of play. We've heard people describe it as sometimes defensively teams get bored against them. How different are they without Washington? And B, how do you kind of guard against that? Don't get bored out there, stay alert.
For sure. Well, first of all, Kashana Washington is a generational talent here in the CAA, and I think that any team that is getting over having a player of that magnitude, they have to redefine their identity, but they are very high IQ basketball. How do we stay the course? Again, we have to try to disrupt some of the monotony to what they're doing, because they are so disciplined. They're going to get the best shot. I think they're averaging close to 17 assists a game. That's because they are going to take their time, lull us to sleep, and find the opening, hope that we're not disciplined for 30 seconds. So we're going to work on a lot of shell defense this week, and hopefully we can get out and run some, and hopefully we make more than 0 threes.
All right. Towson and Drexel will hit the floor here inside TU Arena on Friday at 7 o'clock. The game, if you can't make it out here, will be on Monumental Sports Network as well as Flow Sports. For the head coach of the Tigers, Laura Harper, I'm Ben Rosenbaum. Thanks for joining us, and as always, go Tigers.
Go Tigers.